When you know that you are queer, but your favorite drink is beer, that's gayish. You can bottom without stopping, but you can't stand going shopping, that's gayish. Oh, gayish, you're probably gayish. Well, life's just too short for narrow stereotypes, so it's gayish. We're also gayish. It's Gayish with Mike and Kyle.
Hello, everyone in the podcast universe. This is Gayish,
the podcast that makes everyone welcome and come well.
Spell come. Ta-da! I'm Mike Johnson.
I'm Kyle Getz.
And we're here to bridge the gap between sexuality and actuality. And today,
man, how in 200 and however the fuck episodes we are finally covering Twinks with our mouths.
We're gonna cover Twinks.
But first, I had a few updates and miscellany that I wanted to discuss with you.
Okay, hit me.
Mike, we never talked. We never just talk.
Yeah.
Let's just talk, you know?
It's been a while. Yeah.
I mean, literally all we do is talk because that's what a podcast is. Okay. First of all, I wanted to mention up top our Q&A episode for 250 is next week. So actually, by the time you are hearing it, it is this Sunday. So two things. One, if you have a question that you want answered, send it to us if you're hearing this on the regular feed on Thursday, you have 1 day. You have to send it in by Friday. So you have a day to send it in. So hurry, send in your questions. We've put on call outs on Patreon. You can email them on Facebook, on Discord. So surely there will be a way for you to submit your question if you want to.
Fucking carry your pigeon for all I care. Get your shit together. Send in your cues.
It's got to be a speedy one, though, because it's due on Friday. You got to get the fastest carrier pigeon in the West. And also then we're going to do a live stream of the Q&A episode. So that will also be this Sunday. There's an event on Facebook you can check out with all the details. So hopefully we'll see you when we record on Sunday. Yeah.
And then after that, we usually hang out and get even drunker on a Zoom call as an after party. So if you want to chill out with us, join us for the live event on Sunday. It's 2 p.m. Pacific time. It's going to be fun.
Ma Johnson will be there.
My mom will be there to also answer cues. If you have questions for mom, she would love to answer them.
Yes, but we've gotten some questions. We need more, so please send in your questions.
No. Awesome.
What else? I also realized we did not say anything about International Lesbian Day. Oops. That was on October 8th. So... you know who did say stuff about it? Other podcasts we're friends with, including If These Ovaries Could Talk, posted a really funny video on Instagram about
known fertile lesbians, if these ovaries could talk.
It was like it said sounds only lesbians could hear, and it was like one of them holding a cat, and then the Melissa Etheridge song starts playing or whatever.
Oh God, that's great.
It was good. Or there's bad queers. There's only losers say dyke. What's the dyke one? Dykes. If these dykes had trikes. If these
hot takes with hot dykes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes. So check out some of those many lesbian podcasts. We didn't forget about you lesbians. We're just on gay time.
Yeah.
And lastly, a update that no one cared about or remembered,
just like Windows 11. Here we go.
Oh, the IT gays loved that one. When we did our episode on felching, there was a city called Felch, and I noted that their May minutes were incorrectly linked to the 2015 meeting rather than this year, and I sent an email to Felch township clerk from our Gayish podcast account and said, just these meeting minutes were linked to the wrong ones. You know, do you have the right ones? And they never replied, but I checked back just recently and all the links are updated to this year. Is there a conspiracy going on? Probably not.
All right. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay.
Welcome back.
You said nothing.
You said the city of Felch.
Oh, it wasn't that interesting, but I thought it was funny, so that's all that matters.
Okay, great.
That's what I got.
Okay.
Anything else before we start the news, Mike?
Well, I am currently in Las Vegas, Nevada, at my brother's house. Unexpectedly, did not anticipate being here today, and yet here I am. All because of a snowstorm and codependency. So, I.
That's the definition of a snowball.
But yeah, the internet is flaky here. So hopefully, if there's weird editing shit because it's hard to edit, that's why.
No, they would have never known. I edited it so smoothly. It sounds amazing. Like we're in the same room, half listening to each other, like we always do.
Great. Sounds good. Sounds good. Moving on.
Okay. Time for the news?
Time for the news.
Shut your mouth hole. It's time for your ear holes. News.
Okay. News the first. We got it. We got to talk about Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
So in Dave Chappelle's latest comedy special, which premiered on Netflix just 6 days ago on the 5th of October, he was kind of a fuckface dickbag asshole about a number of things, but especially trans people. He made some explicit jokes about trans women's genitals and defends DaBaby and J.K. Rowling. He declared himself as, quote, Team TERF. Yeah, so I don't know. The thing is, we talk a lot on this show about jokes and what's okay to joke about, what's not okay to joke about. And I actually haven't seen the special, so I don't feel like I'm really qualified to speak too much on what he said. But trans people are real pissed off, and I definitely want to listen to that. Did you watch it? Have you seen it? Have you been following this story?
Oh, I canceled my Netflix account today.
Did you honestly?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, because of this?
Yeah. They suspended a trans employee who tweeted about this, and of course Netflix says it is unrelated to that, and they encouraged their employees to speak out about it. And it's like that's very weird timing, though, you know?
Yeah.
And then their LGBT, they have a separate like LGBT Twitter account that we're recording this on National Coming Out Day. That's in the past for you all, so you all don't even remember it. Coming out was mere memories for you. But they tweeted something like, "It's National Coming Out Day. We're so happy," and it's like, Netflix today. And then everyone's like posting responses like, "No, no," and in general, I have thought of Netflix as being supportive of the LGBT community and LGBT content. And this was really shitty. And unfortunately, we see it so many times with companies that promote all these big, like supportive things about the LGBT community. And then like recently AT&T, like it was just found out about this, like they're all pro LGBT, and then come to find out they're donating all this money to like anti-LGBT politicians and all this shit. So it's just, it happens so often where people use the community to move forward and don't actually support their values. So I'm hoping that they even had an internal memo release that said that they, like someone said, they're like standing by it and letting the special go, and they won't take it down. I'm hoping that changes though in the future, but at least for now, I canceled my account.
Yeah, good for you. I'm not at home and I don't watch Netflix on my phone, but I will follow suit.
Oh. You can like log in on the computer if you.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know how to do that. I'm very old. Yeah, so it's interesting. That trans person that you're talking about is Tara Field, which the Twitter handle is at Reign of Terra, which I think is hilarious. And Netflix. So her tweet. I'll just read her tweet. At least the first part. I assume is he or she her. But I know I shouldn't assume. They said, I work at Netflix. Yesterday we launched another Chappelle special where he attacks the trans community and the very validity of transness, all while trying to pit us against other marginalized groups. You're going to hear a lot of talk about offense. We are not offended. And she goes on, Pink News uses she, her pronouns, so I'll stick with it. What we object to is the harm that content like this does to the trans community, especially trans people of color, and very specifically Black trans women. Promoting TERF ideology, which is what we did by giving it a platform yesterday, directly harms trans people. It is not some neutral act. This is not an argument with two sides. It is an argument with trans people who want to be alive and people who don't want us to be. So who does this harm? Why don't we go over the list of some people from the US who aren't offended by Dave Chappelle's special? And then in 38 tweets after that, Field listed trans people murdered in the United States this year who were not offended by the special. These are the people that a callous disregard for the lives of trans people by our society have taken from us, and they all deserved better. So she was suspended, and The Verge is reporting that she was, quote, suspended along with two other employees for trying to attend a director-level meeting they weren't invited to. Netflix told the publication in a statement, quote, it is absolutely untrue to say that we have suspended any employee for tweeting about this show. Our employees are encouraged to disagree openly, and we support their right to do so. So a bunch of fucking hand-wavy corporate asshole bullshit, fuckface stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah. Maybe I don't want to talk about him anymore.
Okay.
News the second then. So Dehenna Davison, who is a member of parliament in the UK and a Tory, has come out as bisexual. This makes her the first ever female Tory to do so. For our friends on this side of the pond, Tory is roughly equivalent to Republican. They are dickbag conservative fuckfaces. And but now they have a bisexual pretty blonde lady in their ranks. She opened up about her sexuality in an interview with GB News, which is due to be broadcast on Monday. Today, the Bishop Auckland. Oh, that's her constituency. So I said she had known she was bisexual for, quote, quite a lot of years. If anyone were to explicitly ask me, I certainly wouldn't try and hide it because I don't think it's anything to be ashamed of. The reason I haven't done a kind of, by the way, guys, is because I don't want being bi to be considered a big deal. And she said she was reluctant to do a very public coming out because she thought it would look like there's something unusual about being bi. It's just a part of who I am, she said. She's 28. She's currently in the process of divorcing her husband and has been, quote, I went on a few nice dates with a few nice girls and a few nice guys. And it was just, fun. She's now in a relationship with a man, which she said is going really well. And of course, the Tories are like, yeah, look how gay friendly we are. We have bi now.
Yeah.
And like,
yeah.
But yeah,
that always happens where like LGBT people are everywhere, and they're also jerks, and they're also conservatives, and they're also like, there are racist LGBT people, there are transphobic trans people, there are like, there's shitty people all around. So it's, there are times where you get one person that's like on your same side, and then you're like, oh, this is an example. And it's like, you got to do more work than finding one person. You have to look at what does the broader LGBT community say. So I don't know anything about her other than like being a Tory, but like, you can't point to one person. That kind of helps. That's a way people used to get out of doing the actual work of figuring out, like learning more about the actual LGBT community. If they just find one person, they're like, oh, she's Tory and she's bi, so we must be fine.
Yep. Absolutely. I totally agree. I did want to real quick. I mean, this is National Coming Out Day, and we're recording it on National Coming Out Day. So this is the past. Turn on your time cave, everybody. But her quote about, I don't want being bi to be considered a big deal. It is. Like her saying that is just wrong, and I don't really care what she wants it to be considered. Visibility matters. Coming out matters. It changes public opinion. It makes it safer for other people to express themselves. It's super important to be seen, and I'm glad that this like lukewarm bullshit coming out happened at the very least, so that there's at least more bi representation, because that's very much lacking in the universe.
I also think that especially when people first come out, there's like, I think a lot of us have or a lot of people have had this experience of like, I don't know now how to be, what, bi or gay or lesbian or queer. I don't know how to be that. And at first, I think it's common. I see it a lot where people are like, but I don't want this to be like who I am, or this doesn't change anything about me. Or, I think there's some of those trained responses that you're almost like, to me, it feels like being defensive of like, oh, I'm worried that now something's going to happen, or you're going to view me differently, or that you're going to start like being shitty to me, or I don't know. I think there's like this instinct to try to downplay it at first, because you're not yet confident and comfortable, and don't understand the importance. So I don't know. I like to try to give people, like, after they come out, like a year to kind of like learn shit and understand shit and get better. Then again, like, if I don't know exactly how much power she has, because like, who knows about the British government or how it works? Not this guy.
Yeah, nobody knows.
Nobody knows. It's inscrutable. Indubitably inscrutable, as they like to say in Britain.
Inscrutably.
Like, if it sucks when, like, if she has like, voting and authority to like make political decisions while she's figuring the shit out. Like, I want you to go figure shit out, and then what's shitty trans Republican's name?
All of them?
Jenner, Caitlyn Jenner. Caitlyn Jenner had enough time to figure her shit out and like not be horrible, but she decided to keep being horrible. So it's like, okay, nope, you're an asshole. So
Yeah. Well, good work, blonde lady. Okay, enough about her. News the last.
Yeah.
News the last. I'm pretty excited about this one, Kyle. And I don't even like comic books. DC Comics has announced its new Superman is going to come out as bisexual. So, I didn't know this because, again, I don't read comic books, but apparently Clark Kent and Lois Lane in universe had a son. His name is John, but with no H. It's Jon, which I think that says something about him. And apparently has
what, Mike? What does that say about him?
We have many Johns with no H's that listen to this show, Kyle, and they know what I'm talking about.
It means their full name is Jonathan, generally.
Well,
and you know what that means. Bigger first name. You know what they say about guys with big first names.
Oh my God, Bartholomew, call me. Okay, so let's see. Anyway, so he's now the new Superman, even though he's Superman's kid, and he's only 17, which I think is interesting. But in an upcoming issue, they have him kissing another boy. Yeah. So DC Comics announced on Monday that its new Superman will come out as bi in the upcoming issue, Superman, Son of Kal-El, number 5. It's by writer Tom Taylor and artist John Timms. Taylor said, quote, "I've always said everyone needs heroes and everyone deserves to see themselves in their heroes. And I'm very grateful DC and Warner Brothers share this idea. Superman's symbol has always stood for hope, for truth, and for justice. Today, that symbol represents something more. It is due out on November 9th.
And his the dude he's kissing in the picture is kind of a twink, right?
Kind of a twinky nerd type with glasses on, and like
I think he's a reporter.
Colorful hair.
Yeah.
He's a reporter. A hacker friend of his named Jay Nakamura.
Congrats, John Superman.
But apparently Jay also has superpowers. Like people with superpowers have to be with people with superpowers, right? Otherwise, there's like a weird superpower power dynamic, which you would probably be into. Yeah,
you just explained how stupid that was as you were saying it. So
Gayish. Okay. Well, that's the news.
Just so you know, you are currently, your video's frozen in a state of you mid-talk with like holding up beer, which I like to think of as just how you live your life. So that's fine. You clicked back once I started saying it, but that was fun for a little bit. Okay, I would like to thank these super men, women, and people, our Patreon members. Our latest Patreon members are DA of Colorado. The DA of Colorado supports us.
The Colorado A's.
Yes. My favorite basketball team. Sean Waldron, which sounds like someone who was born in the Walton family and was annoyed with it and was like, nah, yeah, it's just Waldron now.
Yeah,
Never mind, I'm out skis.
Nobody will decode that one.
Yeah. Michael Thomas, which might be a more generic Michael name than Michael Johnson. I don't know. Well, speaking of more generic, Sarah with an H, because that's probably important to
she
Sarah.
took John's H. That's what happened.
Sarah, give it back. No, John without an H spelling is the gay spelling, right?
Oh. Like they took the H out so they could be homo, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, I was thinking they took the H out so the O is like right in the middle. Like that big hole front and center.
Put your whole face right there between the J and the N.
Lick what's between my J and N.
Oh my god. Oh my god, Kyle.
What?
Oh, okay. Wow. I'm having
What?
I ate a boy's ass in the bathroom. I wasn't going to
stop the episode.
I wasn't going to tell
At your
you.
brother's house?
No.
Was it? Okay. So it was not your brother.
No.
Okay. Wait, explain yourself.
I went to Union the other night and met up with a guy, like met a dude. He hit on me hard and did this like follow me to the bathroom thing, and I was like, okay. And then I ate his ass in the bathroom at a gay bar.
Did he like present himself? I just don't imagine you initiating this.
We were making out a whole bunch, and then he like took his pants down, and I was like, well, I'm not going to fuck you in the stall of the bathroom. And he's like, well, then eat me out instead. So I did. I don't know.
Wait, why would you not want to fuck him, but you would eat him out? Like, what's the?
I was very uncomfortable with the whole thing. I was like, I guess it's because then I wouldn't be more naked. Like,
oh,
like me also taking clothes off so that I could fuck him. Like, I wasn't down with that, but using my already exposed body parts to do things, like, that was okay, I guess. I don't know.
What do you taste like?
Like, okay, I was real worried about that because like who knows if you're ready for this, right? Like
I was, that's the first thing I thought. I know you're always like, that's a top of mind to you, top of ass for you.
But... Yeah, absolutely magical.
Oh.
Totally prepped and ready. That boy knew what he was getting himself into, or hoped to get himself into.
So you would you do it again?
We exchanged
5
we exchanged numbers, and we're probably going to hang out again.
Okay, that's so funny and telling that that's what you thought I meant by that. Like, I don't care about that boy. I just care if you would eat another boy's ass in the bathroom again.
Oh, yeah, sure.
But like, obviously, you thought like, would I hang out with this boy? I ate?
Yeah, like, okay, you got me. But I feel like yes, and I already rolled the dice. Like, I've
How many carrots is the ring you bought, Mike?
I am in Vegas. I'm gonna go. I'm picking out a cock ring, everybody.
Oh, no, it worked. Like, that shouldn't be you're not rolling the dice. It's like you did it and it worked once. So now you can do it again with a little bit more knowledge that people know themselves and their bodies and if they're ready to be eaten.
That's a much more reasonable explanation and thought process than I thought you capable of, Kyle. Thank you.
Man, it was so nice at first. That's the best I can afford.
Okay, but here, I want to throw this out. That is so uncharacteristic of me. I don't know who I've been lately. Like the last maybe week, 10 days or so. Like I've been like, I don't know what's come over me. I'm enjoying it, and I've been all over the place.
New Mike 2.0.
Mike 2.0. Horny.
Mike Johnson with no H.
Oh, yep, exactly.
Why'd you get his number? Are you gonna actually call him? Like, are you gonna try to make a date out of this so you don't feel guilty about eating his ass in the bathroom randomly?
I don't feel guilty about that. I do want to hang out with this person more, but I don't want him to think that that's only because I was into his ass.
If you said like, "Hey, I want to hang out again," but it's not because of your ass, I would be offended by like that's the opposite. Like what was wrong with it though?
Of course you would.
And also thank you to Lucas Davies.
That's fucking fantastic. Oh, I forgot.
Lucas, I hope it was worth all the... If you want to join our Patreon, if you find the tier that on the top tier, Mike will eat your ass. Patreon.com/gayish podcast. You can join and get bonus content, episodes a day early, and fun additional shit from us to you.
Yeah,
for you.
Do it.
Do you want to talk about Twinks?
Let's talk about Twinks. And no,
was that guy a twink?
he was not a twink. He was like the most jacked muscle ass guy I think I've ever been with. I had to like an expedition. I had to like peel back the cheeks so I could even get in there, and like it was
sent in a canary first.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Came back yellow, so he's good to go.
Ooh.
I thought you meant send in a canary, like canary in a coal mine. Like you send in
the but it shouldn't come back. Canaries shouldn't come back yellow out of the ass. It should come back clean.
Oh, okay. What color's a clean canary?
What's the sound of one canary being clean? And other questions no one has asked.
If you don't send questions in for our 250th episode, it's going to be just Kyle and I inventing questions that no one should ask nor have the answers to.
Twinks.
Oh yeah, Twinks.
Is what we're talking about.
Twinks is what we're talking about. Okay, let's just right out of the gate. Predictably, I'm going to talk about the etymology of the word twink. But first, before we go too deeply into that, what is your working definition of a twink, Kyle?
That's a great question. Because like that can be a whole lot. That's a great question. See the next episode for the answer, where we answer our own questions. To me, okay, I think of twink as, and there's like every single one of these words has an asterisk by it that's like encouraged but not required. Young, hairless, blonde, white, skinny, kind of tall. Like to me, like
tall.
Those are kind of
tall. Is
kind of, it doesn't have to be very tall, but at least kind of tall.
Okay.
Yeah. No, you're right. That's not true. They're little pocket twinks. So maybe I remove that one from the list. So like all of those, like I said, like I think people tend to think about twinks as hairless, but you can have some hair and it'll still look, or like blonde is not a requirement, but they tend to be more likely to be blonde. You know, like all of that is like, yeah, I don't know. What's yours?
Did you say white? Was white in your list?
I did say white. I think and actually I'll mention, I asked people about their favorite twinks in our Discord server and got some people's answers, and someone even mentioned like it, when you see these lists of twinks, it tends to be more likely to come back with white people, like white twinks. And so I think we tend to, like, the stereotype of a twink is more likely to be white. I definitely know of some black people and people of color that I would consider twinks, but you know.
Yeah. I think especially black twinks is a thing that you see like advertised in porn, right? It's a whole category or genre or whatever. But
is it?
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen that.
Oh, well, look it up, Kyle. It's pretty great.
Okay. No, I'll do that. I'll do that. You keep doing the episode. I'll do that.
Okay. It's the Mike Show, everybody. So some of the things that you said are I was going to, I very much align with yours, except I had never really considered blonde to be part of the equation. But definitely like hairless, young. I think there's like you age out of being a twink. But I did see in some places that if you just look youthful like fucking Dan, then you can still qualify as a twink. Not that fucking Dan is a twink. Now I need to escape from this conversation. Okay.
Yeah, fuck you. I've never been a twink. I will never be a twink.
I've seen a picture of you where you're not Twinkie. You're like wearing a shell bead necklace and you've got like Twinkie hair and you don't have facial hair. And
I've had facial hair since I was 17.
You might have been in high school. I've seen a picture of you where you like rocking some pretty near twink territory. Anyway, But it's also about self-identification, Dan. I respect your ability to categorize yourself in whatever way you want.
There's also like, I was talking more like physical attributes. There's also other stereotypes about twinks where they tend to be more femme. People assume they're femme, that they're bottoms, that they're slutty, that they're I don't know. There's a lot of stuff like that
Stupid. That they're stupid.
Yes.
Stupid, naive, and there's some of those things that we can deconstruct if we want. But yeah.
So hairless, but that includes the face. Clean shaven is part of it. No hair anywhere except on the head. But then they have to have hair on their head. Like, I don't think there are a lot of bald twinks either. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
But to just jump right into the Wikipedia article, they say twink is gay slang for a young man in his late teens to early 20s whose traits may include general physical attractiveness, a slim to average build, and a youthful appearance that may belie an older age. So they don't necessarily mention the hairlessness. And another place, I was looking at this forum that had it defined as a twink is a gay slang. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna talk more about this forum later, but a twink is a gay slang term describing a young or young-looking gay man in his late teens or early 20s with a slender, ectomorph build, little or no body hair, and no facial hair. So there's that. And then I often go to etymonline.com for etymology because I think that they do a really good job, and they even have some slang stuff or more esoteric terms than you'll find just in the notes in Merriam-Webster or whatever. But they say twink meaning young, sexually attractive person, which that doesn't say anything about their orientation or their gender.
I was going to ask, gay came up. I didn't include gay in my list. Do you think gay is a prerequisite?
I think it's implied. Yeah.
It's implied.
And I think that it's possible for straight guys to call each other twink in a way that's meant to piss them off.
Yeah. I think gay, again, gay would be what most people think of. By queer men, if you, as we expand and be better at looking at the full spectrum, I think could probably also very easily fit as twinks. I think we often call straight celebrities who we want to be gay twinks, if they fit all the other definitions. So gay came up to me as do they have to be gay to count? And
Yeah. It was very difficult for me to not just start naming celebrity twinks that aren't out. And I'm
Shawn Mendes.
Okay, well, great.
is the one that I. Oh, okay. He's the one I would think of that people would call a twink because they want him to be gay, and there are plenty other, non-gay celebs that people would straight celebs that people would just be like, oh yeah, he's doing. Tom Holland came up.
Yeah, Tom Holland. Okay. Anyway,
that's what happens whenever I think of Tom Holland. Too.
I go somewhere in my mind.
Yeah.
So Etymonline says that meaning young, a sexually attractive person is recorded from 1963, probably from Twinkie. Twinkie, the Hostess confection, commonly regarded as the quintessential junk food, and the subject of Dan's Patreon segment, which is going to touch on the Twinkie defense, which is hilarious and not hilarious.
It's basically I'm a twink. I didn't know any better.
Right.
I couldn't have known because I'm a twink. That's the Twinkie defense. And they're like, oh, you're so right, twink. You're off the hook. Go out and keep taking it.
That is disputed that it came from Twinkie. There in the 20s and 30s, the British gay slang, twank was a term. And
what's that mean?
Twank, which meant, quote, the quarry of a homosexual prostitute, a man willing and ready to become any dominant man's partner. So there was a submissiveness and a please use me, daddy, is basically the tone there.
I'm a twank. I've never found my category that I fit into and really embraced.
Great.
Finally, Mike, it was bound to happen someday.
Great. I'm so proud of you. You heard it here, folks. Kyle is a twink.
Twink, twunk.
Twink, twink, twunk, and twas. I was going to come up with a game that was twink, twink, twunk, or twas.
I have a game for us later.
Awesome.
According to Urban Dictionary, a twank is a twink who is also a skank.
Oh,
So Kyle,
either one. Yeah, either one. I like, in fact, both put those definitions together and I'm good.
All right. So I don't know if you've ever heard this before, but a backronym exists that says that twink stands for teenaged, white, into no kink. Twink.
Because they're just vanilla, like vanilla sex.
Yeah, exactly.
Huh.
So young, white, and not into kinky things is the thing. But that, like most backronyms, that's absolutely not the case, right? If anybody ever tells you, "Hey, did you hear that such and such stands for so and so," and it's an acronym, almost certainly wrong. Those are almost never right. Yeah. So one more thing about the Twinkie thing. I'm just going to read this paragraph because it's fucking hilarious, and then we can move on to Gata. This is the whole part of Wikipedia about the Twinkie. Another possible origin of the term may be a derivation from the snack cake Twinkie, commonly regarded as the quintessential junk food. The food is described as, quote, little nutritional value, sweet to the taste, and cream-filled. By comparison, the young men are described as, quote, short and blonde and full of cream. Cream is among the well-known food-related euphemistic terms for semen. The definition of twink has broadened, and qualifiers such as muscle or femme narrow the meaning to a more specific type of twink, which you did earlier, right? A pocket twink is another one.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
I mean the phrase "young, dumb, and full of cum" often would be ascribed to twinks.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Wait, what year did you say that was? Did the very first, like, it started in this year?
1963.
Okay. Because I have a song that I found.
I thought you were going to say wrote, thank God.
Hey, I bet I could write a really good song about twinks.
I bet you could too.
I'm a twink and you can tinkle on me. Watch me as I get on my knees. You can come on my face. You can come in my ass. But don't say but if you're mean, I'll give you my sass. I'm a twink baby, show me some love, and I mean rectally in the ass without a love glove. I'm a twink baby, fuck me so good. Okay.
That's Twink Baby, everybody.
That's Twink Baby. Now the song I'm going to play for you is going to be very tame in comparison. Okay. This song came out in 1959, and it's called Starkle Starkle Little Twink.
It's just a spoonerism for Twinkle Twinkle Little Star?
Yes. Okay. I'm going to play just a little bit for you, and yes.
Starkle Starkle Little Twink. Nothing wrong with me, I think. Though all my jums are wordled in a jam, I'm not as mad as think or peep I am. Starkle, Starkle, little twink. Don't know who is me, I think. I am so wob, I weak when I walk, and fall so foolish when I talk.
Aww.
So, that's a song by comedian Charlie Drake. This is Drake?
Yeah.
I didn't know Drake was an English comedian from the 50s.
It's a really hard transition to make, too, into rap from there.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's really a triple threat, but...
British comedian and a rapper.
Mm-hmm.
If you couldn't hear... I will read you some of the lyrics, and it's basically like just someone that seems kind of drunk when they're talking. I just like to imagine that all of this is coming from the mouth of a twink, which makes it funny to me. Sparkle, sparkle, little twink, nothing wrong with me, I think. Though all my jums are wordled in a jam, I'm not as mad as thinkle peep I am. Sparkle, sparkle, little twink, don't know who is me, I think. I am so wob, I weakle when I walk, and fall so foolish when I talk. I could picture a drunk twink singing that to me.
Absolutely. We're going to start teaching classes. Twinks, here's this new theme song for you all.
Well, I mean, we have to teach them to read first, and then we can hand out the lyrics.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, now, okay, should I actually talk about Gata now?
Okay, talk about Gata now.
Let me tell you about some statistics. It's Twinks.
Twinktistics, maybe? I don't know.
Statistics. No, I did all permutations I can think of and nothing works. Okay. I'm going to tell you about an Australian study about twinks. It is called Health Disparities, that's giving away a little bit of it, among common subculture identities of young gay men, physical, mental, and sexual health. This is by Anthony Lyons and Warwick Hosking from 2014 and published in the Archives of Sexual Behavior. So this was a nationwide in Australia cross-sectional online survey of over 1,000 Australian gay men, 18 to 39 years old. And just up front, I was more looking for like how many gay men identify as, or I mean, if any kind of queer LGBT, or I guess any men, how many people identify as twinks was an interesting number that I had to spend a little time poking around for, and this is the closest I could come. Of the over 1,000 gay men, 44% reported a subculture identity. The two most common were first twink and cub. So of that 1,000 total, 20% identified as twink, 9% identified as cub. The rest weren't big enough for them to do analysis on like common behaviors or traits or anything, but other identities. They mentioned wolf, sex, pig, chub were other identities that came up.
But 56% said I don't have a tribe. I have no label.
Yep.
That actually checks out. But I like, there are a lot of people that have anxiety about like, what am I a twink? Am I an otter? Am I a bear? Am I a cub? Am I whatever? And like over half of us don't identify with one of those. There's nothing wrong with you. You're fine.
I completely agree. I thought that was the most interesting thing. And I remember doing something that was like from a weird, like find your, like what subculture are you kind of test. And so, you know, it's not like a published study, but it also said a similar thing that like over half of people don't identify with any of the subgroups, which I think that would surprise, you know, non-LGBT people are like, oh, bear? That's funny. You know, they're like just finding out about some of these things. So that would probably surprise them. But I think even queer people would be surprised because we so often, like we focus so heavily on all these subcultures that we assume that's like, that everyone is a subculture and what am I? So yeah, I think you're totally right that people have like anxiety about that. It reminds me of like the data that we see that's like over half of the LGBT plus community is bisexual. And it's like, well, we talk about mostly gay men, and after that sometimes lesbians, and the rest fall by the wayside, even though such a big proportion of our group is bisexual. And I think this is similar. Like we talk so much about these different categories, most people don't actually identify with one. And it's just, I don't know. I think it's counter to what some people may think.
I wonder if you could get any data out of Grindr, right? Like Grindr has like which tribes do you belong to, and you can check. I forget. I think you can only select like 3 or something. Let's open Grindr, shall we? Go ahead. You can keep talking.
Okay, keep talking. This is your roundabout way to get on Grindr during the show. I'm on to you, Mike.
I'm in a new city. I like being the new fresh meat.
That always works out. They said that at least, so this came out in 2014, but they said at the time they published, they could only find one other study about gay subcultures. It was a US study, but like, I believe them more than me doing, you know, fucking Google search or Scholar.
But it's research, Kyle. You're researching.
I legit am researching.
I know.
By reading things, but no, I trust these fancy people that are published to know more than me about how many studies. So that's interesting to me that like, it might just be that at least published research, academic research on subcultures is rare at the time. So they looked at some of the common traits and characteristics, and some of the findings are that they kept calling them twink identified men, which I get is important from the academic sense, but like it's just so, you know, twink identified men had the highest risk profile for a lot of things, including they're more likely to report smoking tobacco, more likely to engage in receptive anal sex, less likely to report getting tested for HIV, After adjusting for age and BMI, they reported greater alcohol consumption. A lot of these could be explained because twink tends to be the paper did a good job of like thinking through why could that be, and there could be reasons like if twink tends to be identity for younger people, they may be less likely to have been tested for HIV. So none of these are saying it's a bad thing or a thing they've done wrong. It may be the characteristic of this group inherently, but still I think interesting kind of dynamic. Or if they're younger, they may be more likely to be sexually active or go out to clubs where they may be more likely to drink or smoke or what have you. So there may be understandable reasons for it, but still a characteristic of, this community.
Yeah. And nothing. Go ahead.
No, you say stuff. I just talked a bunch.
No. Just, Twinks.
It's just Twink.
Am I right?
No, Twinks. Am I right? Hey, Twinks. Right.
We forgot to mention earlier. I do sort of associate Twinks with bottoming, and I know that is all very problematic. It's toxic masculinity on my part. Is because Twinks are also sort of coded femme, and femme does not mean that you are a bottom. Like it's all wrapped up in this big package of fucking horse shit that I need to get over.
How big of a package?
Yeah.
I would like to point you, if you would like the extra work, or not extra work, if you would like an extra boost of help breaking down that notion, try visiting twinktop.com, one of my new favorite porn sites. It's where, it's what it says it is, so I don't have to explain it to you. I am really into like differences in things. So like age differences. A twink fucking like a muscle gay is like super hot. Like, like super hot dude fucking an old gross dude. Like there's just a lot of like differences that I'm like very into, and Twink Top I'm like very into that.
Yeah. Okay. I agree with you that like differences are hot. I very much enjoy that too. It's like, what are those they're so contrived, but like every once in a while like I get an itch for it. The doctor that's enormous and the patient is just a little tiny pocket twink, and like then they end up banging after a weird medical examination that involves, of course, like a detailed analysis of their genital region.
And you get to watch gay porn stars try to improv their way through a medical exam, which is like a little bit uncomfortable.
It's the best.
It's so I like porn as a like a cultural statement of identity that's subverting what like Twink Top is. That it is an important cultural piece that subverts our expectations of twinks in a very meaningful and sexual way. It's should be in the Library of Sex Congress.
Mike, I think the site that you've been frequenting is called Fun Size Boys.
Yeah, Fun Size Boys is great.
Yeah. Or I love it when some guy is like just getting railed and you just like, oh, he's the bottom of the like group or threesome or whatever, and all of a sudden he turns around and starts fucking someone else, and that to me is like, oh, like it's anyway. So, but you're right.
I wanted to mention it's something that this study suffers a little bit less from, but often one of my first things I check when I look at a study is what the age range of the participants were, because so frequently studies are people in colleges and the available subjects are college students, which means that it's demographically skewed, it's age skewed, there's so many things. This study, I noticed of the people that it like whittled down to eventually, it was of the gay men in the study. The age range was 18 to 39, so nobody 40 or older was included in this, which explains why Cubs was a bigger bucket than Bears, and Twinks was a bigger bucket than maybe other identities that might have popped up if they included it. Any of us that are apparently dead to them because we're over 40.
Or maybe that's like they're intentionally trying to target like some of those younger subgroups to, I don't know. Yeah.
No, it just proves definitively that gay death is at 40. It's in a study. It proves it.
Oh God, that's true. I thought it was interesting that more than half of both Cub and Twink identified men. Can you imagine? Like, I'm a Cub identified man. Like, I don't know. Both Cub and Twink identified men reported more discrimination than non-identified men. So more than half of cubs or twinks reported discrimination versus 2/5 of non-identified men. And again, the report theorized about some of that. Perhaps people that are belong to a subgroup are more likely to label themselves or be out or belong or be in that group, so they may be more visible. Non-identified men, it's possible they're less likely to. Maybe they're like that bisexual blonde lady that's like, I'm bi, but that's not me. It doesn't matter. Like, maybe they're more like, I don't know, and I don't understand this, so don't ask me questions, but I thought it was funny. Twink identified men tend to be less organized as a group than cub identified men.
Sure.
I mean, that checks out, right?
I mean, I've known some twinks that were a hot mess before, that's for sure.
The famous kids book, if you take a twink to dinner, it takes like so long for them to get ready, like you think they're ready and then 20 minutes later they're still like putting on their makeup, and then like you start to leave again and they forgot their keys. It's just so much, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Far less organized. Yeah, so that's the data on twinks. And it's funny, even as we said that, I am making jokes about certain stereotypes about twinks. And yeah, there's like, to more directly address what you mentioned before, like twinks, because they tend to be labeled as more feminine, will be more likely to be labeled as bottoms. And I could imagine that being a bigger target for discrimination. And I don't know, like, is there a neutral way? Is it okay? Like, are these subcultures helpful? Is calling a twink, there's all this baggage that we have with it that involves toxic masculinity and shitty parts of the LGBT culture. Is there a way to do it that doesn't promote that? Is it inherent to the subcultures? Are we bringing that ourselves? Like,
yeah. I mean, first, I don't see it stopping anytime soon. I think that twinks are here to stay, Kyle. And good luck getting rid of that term, right? I don't think so. Even if we were to decide, yes, it's terrible and we should stop it immediately, I doubt it would.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is surprising given our immense influence over the universe.
And influence over Felch Township websites. Sure, it's still going to happen, but I think it's also worth having the discussion to understand a little bit better. I think that's also useful and enriching for our culture.
So I think this probably says a lot about me. I think most of the things that are carried with the label twink are positive. Like the emphasis is on beauty, and youth and attractiveness, like it. And just the thought that I'm having is that doesn't mean it's okay, right? Like there are a lot of stereotypes that are actually complementary to the person that ends up not being okay, right? Like the whole thing about like saying that Asian people are good at math and then defending it by saying that, but it's complementary. Well, what if you're the Asian kid that's bad at math? Then like now you feel double bad about yourself because you're bad at math and you're not living up to the expectations of your potential, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Like I'm a terrible dresser. And it's like, wait, aren't you supposed to be good at that? And it's like, it makes me feel even worse that I'm bad at it.
Yep. Absolutely. So I don't know. But I don't see twink as being like, I'm talking myself out of it now. It is used in a derogatory, slanderous way, usually by like, I don't know, non-twinks like to throw the word twink around as a put down. So I don't know.
I think there's also like when you have this standard of what it means to be a twink, then it's like if you don't fit that, if you're a little bit outside of it, that can suck both like for if you're like trying to live up to what this standard is of young, hot, beautiful, always down for sex. Like if you're labeled that and you don't feel like you identify with it, that's like a whole lot of work to try to like fit into that. And we mentioned like age, like all of a sudden you reach an age where people don't consider you twink. Is that like bad or worse? Like that feels.
There's that video that I'm pretty sure you showed me of all of the like really awesome middle-aged comedian women, and it's their last fuckable day, and they have a celebration for last fuckable day. There needs to be one for twinks. Your last day as a twink.
I don't. Yeah, I remember that video. I thought you showed me that, but anyway. But yes, like,
Whom knows?
whom knows? I decided in the course of researching this, the life cycle goes: someone called me a twink. I am a twink. Someone on Grindr just sent an unsolicited message making fun of me for calling myself a twink. Maybe I'm not a twink. Wait, who are all those twinks? And then, oh, hey, twinks. I think that's the twink like life cycle.
Okay. Yeah, we should draw one of those charts of like when the eggs go into the body and then it like releases the worms into the intestines and like
It's the grossest example. You could have used like the recycling water cycle or something. Anyway, that's Gata and a whole lot more that you didn't ask for.
Do you? So I'll get to this other kind of twink here in just a second, but do you?
That sounded like you behind you had like a bunch of twinks standing. Like, I'll get to that twink later.
Yeah, it's Las Vegas. You don't know.
That's true. That's true. Whose ass is Mike gonna eat today? That's our new game show.
People would listen to that.
That's true. It's gonna sound like this.
Hey Kyle.
Hey Mike.
Do twinks imply being into daddies? Like, does the term twink, because there's some of that in there somewhere, right? Am I making that up?
No, yeah, I mean, like literally one of those definitions you read said that was the definition. But yeah, I think again, like all of this is like kind of feelings about it that aren't required, but kind of there's a vibe that like, and yeah, the stereotype is that twinks would be into daddies, and the best is when a twink porn star goes into then being called a daddy. Like, who's that? Johnny Rapid went from twink to like he grew a beard, and now everyone's like, oh, daddy. He actually got like muscular and like. Anyway, the twink to daddy pipeline is a very unique path that only a select few can make. It's like the Supremes for.
Yeah, or that what's that YouTuber's name? He just did that transition really well. Nobody cares because he's on YouTube.
Tyler
Oakley, yeah.
What were you going to say, Dan?
Oh, I wanted to ask a potentially controversial question as a throwback to episode 81, pedophiles.
Wow,
is people's fascination with twinks a form of ephebophilia?
Yes.
Like, to me, if a twink starts to like their shoulders get too broad, if they get a little too muscular, they're not a twink anymore. That a twink to me is like when they're like there's a certain amount of like sexual immaturity to their body, like they're like, because your shoulders don't really broaden until your 20s, like sometimes mid to late 20s for some people, when you're because your bones are still growing, in the case of AMABs. So I'm curious what your thoughts are on that.
I mean, when I see twinks whose shoulders start to broaden, my bone starts growing.
Well done. Yes, Dan, I think there's something to that, right? Which that's a little tricky too, because younger is also femmier, right? Like, but there's biology to that even, right? Like the testosterone masculinizes features and makes changes to your bone structure, and so there is also a feminization that comes along with twinkiness that I'm not sure. All of those things are connected. I think there's a constellation there that I'm having a hard time connecting the dots for, but I think you're super onto something.
Yeah, the lack of body hair, the lack of facial hair, the thinness, they're all sort of lack of secondary sexual characteristics.
Right? Yeah.
Like they look as much like a boy as they can without actually being a boy.
Yeah.
See, that's interesting. I connect it more to like our just general youth obsessed being gay. Like anyone who is young is kind of put on a pedestal. And I completely agree that there's a portion of that is, can like venture into that, whatever it's called, pedophile territory. But don't you unmute and tell me the right answer, Dan. Don't you do it. No, you can say it. What is it?
Ephebophilia.
Oh, right. I'm going to forget that again in a minute. But I think it's more about like our just obsession with, youth. Like so many of us were robbed of youth. So many of us like are obsessed with like trying to look perfect in beauty. And
Well, I wanted to talk to you real quick about this other kind of twink. And Donna Sugars talked about it when she co-hosted. I forget if it was on the main episode or in the Patreon stuff, but a twink or twinking is a type of behavior in role-playing games, and it comes up in WoW also. And I'll just read from this the forum that I was joking about previously is not a twink forum. It's an MMO forum for massively multiplayer online role-playing games.
I was getting there.
Twinking is a type of behavior in role-playing games. A player who engages in such behavior is known as a twink. The precise definition of twinking varies depending on the variety of role-playing game. In pen and paper role-playing games, a twink is often synonymous with a munchkin. And that's true. I've heard like Twinkies or Twinks as being just like little characters in the game. Like you've rolled a character that you've chosen to give a very small stature. In MUDs, a twink is a player who is variously anything from a munchkin to a newbie to a griefer. And in MMORPGs, twinking refers to power leveling a character through the assistance of a higher level character, particularly through the use of otherwise unattainable high-level equipment, or the process of keeping a video game character at a low level while using in-game currency earned by a high-level character to provide it with superior equipment. So, to translate, a daddy, a sugar daddy, like a character that has a sugar daddy is known as a twink.
Huh.
And
which came first, the twink or the twink? Like, is this in response to what the gay culture calls twink, or is this its own thing that then...
This forum that I got, I'll send it to you in case you want to read the whole thing. They're arguing about exactly that because they... One person says, while twink is a gay slang term for a male bimbo, it was years ago adopted into paper and pencil RPG circles as a term referring to a young male player who cares little for the spirit of the game and just wants to Monty Hall the best gear and skills available, often breaking the game balance and pacing and spoiling the rest of the party's fun while doing so. But pen and paper, I mean, that started in the late 70s, right? And I don't know how...
pen and paper sounds like a proper noun that I'm unaware of.
No, like Dungeons and Dragons and GURPS and all of those other, pen and paper and dice role-playing games. But it's not in this thread. Somebody said, makes sense. Young, low level, pretty, has good equipment. Boy. Anyway, I think that's really interesting, and the prevailing theory here seems to be that twink used in role-playing games is actually used pejoratively to refer specifically to gay twinks. That gay twinks came first, and then somebody thought that it was funny to because of toxic masculinity in video gaming, take that term and use it for video game character behavior.
That ties in with my that would make sense to me. Like there's homophobia and toxic masculinity, so pulling the word twink and using it to use it disparagingly against another character, that would make sense to me.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't have to play WoW very long to get called a faggot, and I'm pretty sure that's all part and parcel. And anyway, that's the other kind of twink, which I think is interesting.
Then can we get into some twink specifics, some specific twinks?
Let's get into some twinks, Kyle.
So I asked Discord for who their favorite twinks were, and
okay.
I just started writing down ones I didn't know and stopped because there are too many. Troye Sivan, I've heard of him, don't really know who he is.
Musician, very twinky.
Yeah. Ollie Alexander, who's part of a group called Younger and Younger, or Years and Years, or Yellow and Yellow. I don't know, something like that. Manu Rios, Dominic Cooper, Jordan Fisher, Alex Roman, Freddie Highmore, Dev Patel, Kenyon Lonsdale. I don't know who any of these twinks are.
Yeah. Twink erasure, man.
It's real. People mentioned, like we talked about, can straight people be twinks? Tom Holland, Justin Long, Taylor Lautner, and Zac Efron, both before they got more jacked.
Okay.
So there were a lot of twinks, and they started. Someone mentioned Lil Nas X, and was like, well, okay, is it because he's black that people wouldn't consider it, or is it because he's a twunk? And so, like, you're shaking your head no. What's your...
Oh, sorry. No, I don't think it's because he's black. I think it's because he's too muscular. He's a twunk.
I think for me, twunk though falls in the twink umbrella. I see a big like twink, and twunk is a part of that group. I don't see it as like a separate thing.
Okay, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. Twink is a genus, and you've got lots of species in there.
Well, you probably start with like person, then gay, then twink, then twunk, maybe. Like,
I'm with you.
And then slutty, like, I don't know, something like that.
Oh, I've spotted a Twunkus giganticus in the wild.
It's a rare find in this part of the Pacific. People also mentioned Elliot Page, who I think is a twink, but that the age, like aging out, like, is there a certain age range that regardless of how you look is just, you're out of age range? It's interesting. We didn't talk about his transness as a reason for him not to be a twink. And I don't, that we haven't mentioned that at all. I don't know. I'm sure there's shitty people who say that, but like, I don't see transness as excluding anyone from the twunk name.
I mean, I think once you just get your head around the, like, trans men are men and you practice that, then it becomes not even a thing that you really think about that much. But
yeah. But is Elliot Page a twink?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Because he's little, right? Like he's and you said tall at the beginning when you were describing your prototypical twink, which I thought was interesting. Because I associate it with small in stature, but whatever.
But if you remember, I did retract that.
Yeah, I know. No, I'm going to hold you to it forever, Kyle. Kyle said.
Would you hold twinks against me?
Yeah.
Maybe on the twink side, because like that. Remember that poolside photo Elliot posted, and like those abs. Okay, so there was a lot of interesting discussion that they got into in the group about what constitutes a twink and is there any race or age or issues. But instead of doing any more of that, I want to play the Twink Buttle Royal.
Okay, Twink Battle Royale.
No, Buttle Royale.
Buttle Royale.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Twinks have butts. That's
they do.
Joke.
They do.
Okay. I listed 7 of my favorite twinks.
Okay.
And the weapons they would have available just by the nature of who they are.
Okay.
And we're going to pick randomly, and I'm going to pit 2 twinks against each other, and you're going to tell me who would win.
Okay.
So, Mike, give me a letter A through G and a number 1 through 7.
F4. Did you like how I didn't ask any questions at all, Kyle? I just followed what you said.
Thank you. I didn't really recognize
if you want it to continue.
You're right. I really shouldn't have breezed through that. I appreciate it. Dan, you try 1 through 7, A through G. You can't pick F or 4.
3D.
Okay. Based on my pre-written list.
You sunk my battleship.
You sunk my twink. So for each twink, I wrote down what weapon they would have. So the twink that I gave you may not correspond with their own weapon. So this is Lil Nas X with a diving board. That was Tom Daly's weapon. But Lil Nas X has a diving board as a weapon versus 3D. That's 3 is Timothy Chalamet, and this is interesting. This is Lil Nas X's weapon was a lap dance.
Ooh.
So we're pitting Lil Nas X's diving board with a diving board against Timothy Chalamet's with a lap dance. Who would win? And this is a fight to the death.
How do you kill somebody with a lap dance?
Very sexy.
Timothy Chalamet was the lead in the film Call Me By Your Name, which was also the recent hit by Lil Nas X.
Oh, that's true. Timothy Chalamet's weapon, which I did not end up getting picked, was a peach. So,
I mean, my money's on Nas just because, like, you can probably majestically dive off of the board, looking stunning, but also then it's a board. You can hit a motherfucker with it. I don't know what you're gonna do with a lap dance.
See, I don't know, a diving board, like that may be too long to easily wield. I think Timothy Chalamet, I have to keep looking at his name because I can't pronounce it. I think if he wields a lap dance, he may be able to distract Lil Nas X and break his neck like he did in his video, use his own video against him.
Okay.
I think you may be able to stun Lil Nas X into quiet contemplation and then break his neck.
Okay.
We're going to do one more. Pick another 1, 2, or 5, 6, 7.
1.
And A, B, C, E, or G.
G.
All right, Dan, your turn.
7. E.
Okay. This pits Asa Butterfield.
Asa
who is
Butterfield?
the lead character in Sex Education with lube against Justin from Queer as Folk.
Oh, no.
The lube was his weapon, so using his weapon against him. Justin from Queer as Folk using the weapon of Mo, Elliot Page's dog. Who would win?
Ooh.
If you're unfamiliar, Mike, Mo is a tiny little dog.
Tiny little runt of a curly-haired little dog. Looks like it's kind of yappy, but I've never heard it.
But Justin is, I think he is the archetypical.
He's the human Mo?
No. He is
Twink.
the twink.
He's the twink.
Like,
yeah.
he is the human manifestation of everyone's twink fantasies, right?
That's true.
Until he went on to be the lead on Sons of Anarchy and get like massive and muscly and hairy and bearded, and
All twink has to find their own way after.
My money is on Justin.
Why?
Because I don't know if Asa Butterfield is like his character on Sex Education, but he just would not have the confidence to make it through any kind of altercation, and Justin would fuck him up.
How would he use Mo the dog? Or do you think that's irrelevant to the...
He would ask Asa Butterfield to watch the dog, but then would like I don't know, poison the dog somehow so that it died on his watch, and then he would shame him to death.
What? Is that worse than outright murder, that roundabout concoction that you just put together for us? See, I think you give a twink lube, and I don't know. I don't think there's any stopping them. I think Asa Butterfield might kill someone on accident. Like, he's holding the lube, he does like a Charlie Chaplin, like squirts the lube on the ground, is like, whoa, Justin slips on it and dies by accident. Weigh in on the comments below. that was the Twink Buttle Royal.
Yeah, we did it. Twinks fought. Twinks won.
Twinks won. At the end of the day, Twinks are the ones that are twinning. That's not are winning. They twin. No.
Holy shit! There's a musician named Twink.
Really?
Twink the musician, John Charles Edward Alder, born November 29th, 1944, also known as Twink, is an English drummer, actor, singer, and songwriter who was a central figure in the English psychedelic movement. In 2006, he converted to Islam and changed his name to Muhammad Abdullah. However, he still records under the name Twink.
Is he any kind of queer? Or is this appropriation?
I don't know if it can be appropriation if he's been using that name since the 60s. I don't know. More study needed, Kyle. More Twink study needed.
How about we haven't given our listeners an assignment. Research the artist formerly known as Twink. You tell us. We're tired. We did a lot today. You do some work now.
Yeah, did we do it? We twinked all the twinks?
I think we did a lot of twinks.
We're twonked now?
I'm twonked out. Yeah. That's a lie. Who could be? Okay, but I'm done. Yeah.
Okay, so should we take a break?
Yeah, let's take a break.
Let's take a break.
Twink break.
But like for reals, because I got to poop.
Okay. Twinks don't poop, Mike.
I know.
This is the part where Mike and Kyle take a break.
Oh, Twinks, what have you done? Are you ready?
Yes, this is your line.
Are we back?
We're back.
We're back.
I don't know if I like said this as specifically as I should have. I feel bad because we continue to perpetuate make jokes about the stereotypes of twinks. I'm into, among many other body types and whatever, twinks can fuck me all day and night. I like, it's great. People assume I'm a top because I'm like tall and wide. People assume twinks are bottoms. So if you want to do some fun role reversal, I'm very, very down. So HMU boys, I just wanted to make clear, fuck all the noise and top if you want, and please top me.
Yeah, I went on a date with a boy who's only like 5'4", I think, and like we haven't banged yet, but if he topped me, that would be really hot. So anyway,
right? Okay. Anyway, just needed to one last in support of the twinks.
Twinks, we love you.
Yeah,
inside and inside.
Let's do our Gayest and Straightest.
Let's do but first, our website is gayishpodcast.com.
Our social media, you can, I don't know, see all the pictures of Twink Stan's going to post about this episode at Gayish Podcast on Instagram. I don't know if y'all know this. Yeah, Dan puts together like pictures of all the things we're going to talk about. So follow us on Instagram and Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. Go to our Discord, which I mentioned. I didn't even mention how to get to our Discord when I talked about our Discord. You can go to our website and it's in the footers. There's a link there. And we have a Facebook group and a bunch of stuff. So do all that.
Our hotline, you can send us text messages or leave us voicemails. It's 5855-GAYISH. That's 585-542-9474. Standard rates apply.
Our email, where you can send your questions if you want to, is gayishpodcast@gmail.com.
And our physical mailing address is Post Office Box 19882, Seattle, Washington, 98109. A couple of programming notes. Oh, first, rate, review, subscribe, and recommend. It really, 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 really does help us out if you do any and all of those. Tell a friend, tell a twink.
Tell your favorite twink today.
Our 250th episode is in just a couple of days if you're going to join us live. That's Sunday, October the 17th at 2 p.m. Pacific time. We need your questions. Please send us your questions so that we can answer them. It's a tradition that we've been doing for a while, and you can send them in from my mom as well. She would love to answer them.
And we'll have some fun updates. We're gonna tell you updates about like Patreon and some other stuff. So it'll be a good time, as it always is.
Also, on our Discord server this year, we're going to have another Secret Santa. So if you join Discord or are already on it and go to the Gayish Agenda channel, it's a Safe for Work channel. There is information in there about how to join our Secret Santa. It was a lot of fun last year. We're looking forward to doing it this year as well. And check that out.
I got a lot of great gay shit. So yeah,
I got a cool fun board game about puns.
I gave Joe and Dallas my crochet that I rubbed over my body. So.
Yeah. And I sent a listener in Canada a sweatshirt that took like until February to get there.
Oh, that's Canada's fault, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
You ready to do our Gayest and Straightest?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go first. Straightest thing about me this week, I drove into Las Vegas today and was hungry as hell, and I just absolutely destroyed a burrito. Just I fucked that burrito's world up. I stuck my face in between its cheeks, and I just ate that burrito's ass.
In a mood.
Yeah. The gayest thing about me this week, in driving all the way from Salt Lake City to Las Vegas in one sitting, I realized I hadn't taken my medication, so I was behind the wheel, so I had my dad get into my backpack and get my pills out so that I could take them, and then I had to explain to him what all of them do, and one of them was my PrEP. So teaching my dad about pre-exposure prophylaxis, that was pretty gay.
Yeah, we talk about like the burden of LGBT people to explain themselves and their identities, but like no one talks about Nick also got it when one man raw fucks another man. Like, you know. My dad visited this weekend. We happened to have dads visiting. He gave I don't know if this is my gayest, but he gave me this Lego set
Oh, it's rainbow Lego dudes.
It's like rainbow, and it's like the rainbow with the trans part. So, and it says everyone is awesome. And he said that I had 1 week to put it together. So I guess so that connects to my Gayest and Straightest. My Gayest is I saw a musical yesterday, Jesus Christ Superstar, and I had never seen it before.
Good for you.
And oh God, you're freaking out.
At the Paramount Theater at 1:00 yesterday?
No, at 6:30 yesterday.
Oh, Bobby and I were at the matinee.
Oh, you were?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. Bobby got tickets from like his kid's friend's mom, and then he was gonna go with Daddy, but then Daddy had to work, so I was like, back up, like, because Daddy's like musical theater gay, and instead the two spooky gays went to go see Jesus Christ Superstar.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think I saw like the last performance of the run. The straightest thing is my dad was the one that suggested it. Just like, even though I have this Lego set, my dad gave me the gay Lego set. My dad was the one, he like had heard all the songs from the album and just saw us playing, and we bought tickets last minute. And so, yeah, I don't want to spoil anything, but my favorite character died at the end.
Also, Jesus was a twink.
Jesus, the ultimate twink. He died for our twinks.
Jesus Christ, King of the twinks.
God's only twink.
Wasn't Jesus classically portrayed as having a beard?
Oh,
Does it disqualify you from twinkness?
But every other attribute about him is so twinkish. It's hard to deny,
Yeah, if you leave a twink in the wilderness to wander around for a few days and they come back with a beard, are they still a twink? I don't know.
If you crucify a twink, are they still a twink?
Yes. Yeah, I think so.
Twinks do bleed a lot from most holes.
And on the third day, he bros. Okay, we should probably call this. That is it. This has been Gayish.
Oh, no. Thank you to the following Jesus Christ Superstars themselves, our Super Gap Bridgers from Patreon. Thank you to Forrest Nail, Patrick Martin, Anonymous, Donald Linsky.
Yeah.
Explosive Lasagna, Christopher Farrell, Jamie Pugh, Kevin Henderson, Tipsy McStumbles, Thomas B, Dusty Sands, Chris Cacciatorian, Jerome York, and Cian and Javi.
Yeah. Thanks, you guys.
And thanks to all the twinks in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks to you.
And thanks to you.
Okay. That's it.
Okay.
This has been Gayish. I'm Mike Johnson.
I'm Kyle Getz. Until next week, be butch, be fabulous, be you. Be a twink.
Cream filled.
Mike, are you frozen or you just don't care about this? Either is understandable. I'm going to guess frozen or I've killed Mike from lack of interest.
So now the episode topic is Frozen. Is Elsa gay?
Is Elsa a twink?
Maybe she's a twink. I don't know. Is every Disney character a twink?
Oh, that's a good topic.